For instance, there are dogs that, well, what you felt when I told you about finding each other after several years because the dog was lost and somebody else took it in good or bad ways, whatever. But 5 years later, for some casualty, they meet. And at the right moment when they know who the other one is, because it's not like, oh, my father. It's a dog that looks in many different ways. And depending in 5 years, how much it can change, much more than you can imagine with your family or friends. And the dog, the same thing, but the dog is never going to hesitate. By the appearance, for sure. By the smell, probably sometimes, if they are used to, but never to your voice. They would know it. Everybody would think about the smell, but they change the smell a lot. For instance, the first dog we had, my uncle gave it to us, to my sister. And this dog was born in another town in the Basque Country. And for some months, of course, it was with the mother of the dog. So we went there to pick it up, and we used to spend time in this nice, beautiful house with horses, animals. They still didn't have children. And they had 2 dogs. The wolf, the German Shepherd, and the small one that it was the mother of our dog. So they were given the names depending on how they look like. So I think mine was the Explorer because it was very, very adventurous, And this story is because we took the dog, and my uncle and my aunt didn't go to Madrid often. So first time they went to Madrid, they visit us. And the dog, they didn't say anything. And the dog was probably 2 months, 3, 4 months old. And maybe now it's 3 or 4 years old. So not knowing anything else. But he hasn't seen his mother again. His mother. You know what I mean? So I feel like the puppy. Okay, so I'm not talking about that perspective yet. I want to talk about that later. But it's so beautiful. And then they didn't speak. And the dog was there, like, okay, they know these people, so I'm not gonna be aggressive or anything. He was like curious. And when he spoke, he started jumping, and so excited that he peed. And because when my uncle was there with the dogs and the horses and everything, he smelled like that. And when he was in Madrid, he didn't smell like that at all. It was different clothes, different everything. Yeah. So the smell didn't tell him anything. If they know you for some natural, strange smell, they will never forget it. And if you always have it, you will. But that's not the case because it was the natural smell for that dog. It was old. It was the smell shit of the horse, or the dogs, or the cats, everything. You know, many different smells. So couldn't realize, but by the ear. So the story is about meeting. This is a way of meeting as well, but I was not going to tell you about this. This came just for another reason. So, there are, I don't know, infinite reasons why the dogs are running away from my home. And it's like this one, it was just to experience there, but he said, hey, inside. And then he went inside. I don't know if the dog understands inside or the dog understands. If you don't enter here, I close the door and you stay out there. You know what I mean? we think that they are understanding our words. No, they understand your energy.
Yeah.
And that's the telepathy, you know what I mean? So they understand much better than what you ever want to say. Once you see it from really, really meaning it. Because you say, sit down. And you're like, I think I'm gonna sit down before you because you don't know, you're not gonna obey me with this. If you're convinced as that, it's never gonna happen. So, regarding my dog, he was always on a leash. He was trained in a very crazy way in my family. Imagine the poor dog growing up in my family. Everybody completely different, absolutely different. It's like a psycho world full of crazy people. And the dog is getting completely different verbal instructions. Meaning the same thing, but completely different words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the other way around, saying the same thing and meaning completely different things. Which is worse. This is what I really meant. So the dog, I was playing with the dog like a child all the time. And I was the only one that he react with an action. It was like, if you say, where's the fly? He would be already jumping and jumping. And if I do this, he would be coming because he was eating flies. Then I kill it and he ate it. And then I always say, where's the fly? And I don't need to do it anymore. I did it 2 or 3 times and I never had to hunt a fly anymore. But when he's like seeing a fly, I go, where's the fly? Son of a bitch. So everybody was just like crazy telling him, where's the fly? La mosca, la mosca. So that's one crazy thing. And then my mother was scared of the dog and she was spending most of the time. My sister was the owner and she was a child, connecting like a puppy. You know, my mother is scared of that. My father, like, it was a dirty object that he could push or kick. My brother probably like, almost like it never existed. And my sister more like a puppy, of course. My other sister was at the beginning, I think she was 2 years old or something like that. No, older. Because I think I was 16. No, she was 6, 7. But a puppy, more puppy than for her. Yeah, I remember very well as well those years with her in our group of friends as well, having conversation and things, crazy things. My sister was 7 and she was pulling the leg of someone in my class that was 9 years old at that time, you know, and she was like very ironic and she was pulling someone's leg. And one day, I don't know if it was this friend or another one, he was walking on a small wall in my condominium, where we were always like meeting there. It was like the central point where the rest of the students, they have to go home here, there, or there, and the school was here. So I was the first. And he was walking on this and he fell and fell on the grass. And my sister said, hey, don't step on the grass. So, imagine my dog.
Yeah.
And there are many other things that I don't want to record because I'm very bad as well. One day, the dog bit me many times.
Oh.
And he got aggressive because of probably my father, the scare of my mother. He was aggressive with my mother. He was probably aggressive with everyone. I don't know. Yeah, he was aggressive with everyone. He beat a child, many dogs. Yeah, he had that. Luckily, he was very small. And he broke my ear in here. He beat me. I was playing with him. And I was like, yeah. Or maybe La Mosca. I have La Mosca or something. And then he was coming here and I was hitting here. And I was hitting him like that. But I was playing with him. And I was going to have an exam in the afternoon. When I don't know what exam was. I was in university economics. He beat me and then So I had here, you could see it open. And then I had to go to the doctor. They put the rabies injection, and then I think they pasted with some kind of glue, and that's it. They didn't give me any stitches. But this is not what I was gonna speak. So this asshole dog that we all loved him because he was an asshole. It's like some people love a psycho, you know, because they had very nice, good connections. So, so I always was like interacting with him like I was a child. So being a child, I was a dog, right? It's easy transition. So really I was playing as I was a dog with him. And from my world, it is exactly like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was playing with my dog, being 27, 25, 15, 27 no, maximum 25. Because then I went with my sister. What I was saying?
You were playing. You were a dog.
Yeah, and saying I was playing like a dog.
I like a dog.
Like a dog, yeah, feeling like a dog. In a way that I'm feeling like a dog. But this dog is not the same as that dog. But they connect.
Yeah.
And very well. But sometimes he was not the same one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I could do anything with him. I could kiss him. I could bite him in the neck. I could do anything. And nothing. And it was fun. It was almost like ticklish. You know? And then he's there, and you are, hey, I'm gonna sit down there. He said, hey, I'm gonna sit down there. So you, completely normal, with no violence, with no nothing, you put him down. And on the way, he bites me, and he goes down. I said, what the fuck? Do you know what a huge betrayal of my confidence, of my trust. Huge betrayal of the trust feeling. Why? Today I understand it. Because he didn't feel he was a dog. He feel he was like me. So he was there saying, I'm watching TV. How the fuck you there to push me down? Why? And it only defends the only way he knows how to do it. You know, it's crazy because he's telling me all the time, don't you dare.
Yeah.
But we are both in both dimensions, but crossed, never on the same one. You know what I mean? When I am the dog, he's me, and when I am me, he's the dog.
Yeah.
No, he's me.
Yeah.
Something like that. But, so this is another way of encountering, because this is like hypnosis, and you auto-hypnosis, and I'm coming backwards telling you this. I told you what it was, you felt it, and now I gave you another dimension of that. And you've seen them both now. So you see everything that is happening here. It's like auto-hypnosis. I'm showing you how to do it, how it works, and we are filming it. Just for you to learn this lesson every day. You need to know how easy it is. How the fuck does he do it? This. If you are trying to understand rationally, you're going to understand less and less this video.
Yes, of course. Oh my god.
So simple. So, the reasons why the dog is running away, they are infinite. Because it can feel, I just told you this crazy thing. Imagine all the infinite crazy things that it can be. I want to try a pair of shoes, whatever.
Yeah.
I love this cat. I love this beach. I love for anything that they love. something that they hate from the inside, you know?
Yeah.
It can be so many different, infinite reasons. So when it's running away from that, it's a completely different than when he's running towards something that he really wishes and desires. So the first case, I don't give a shit about the reencounter. It's a torture for the other one.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't make me happy. It makes me sad. Yeah. So the real encounter, imagine when nobody is expecting it, and this happened, and they recognize each other because of the voice, because for instance, the smell was different or whatever.
Yeah.
And then wow, it's like you see many times with soldiers that go to war, and when they come back, the dog is waiting for them, and they almost like peeing themselves and all these things. In this case, it was not the dog who went away. It's similar, but it's the opposite. So the dog was the man of the home. You know, he was substitutioning this is the soldier, you know. So there are so many roles that we don't see. We see the obvious ones, but the ones that I was coming out, nobody sees them. You know, it's like you have to be very crazy to be that empathetic. That's the thing. You know what I mean? So I don't like people without empathy. I'm sorry. I don't like them. Because I like to connect the same way I am connected. No, connect with someone. I cannot connect with someone in some way and this with someone is, yes, come here. Or, you know, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I am the same with other people, that they are like very loving and I don't feel anything. You know, and it can be my mother. It doesn't matter who. It can be a stranger and feel comfortable, and someone that I know all my life and not feeling comfortable.
Mm.
But even though I felt comfortable, I'm sure that after some time knowing this person, because maybe I feel comfortable with someone that I just met for 3-4 hours, and we contacted in a very good level in something, but we don't know anything else about each other. And maybe you give a hug or something, and then you feel a lot, and maybe you don't see that person again in your life. It happened to me sometimes. So I don't know if we did that. Other times it happened that I continue seeing this person, and then after months or years or weeks, depending on which person, I felt that what I felt at the beginning has nothing to do with what I received from this person about the things that I've been learning. And people can change so much. And this is the thing that I loved in the movie of the other day that you didn't like. It was about this.
Yeah.
It was absolutely about this. So I was, wow. And you didn't get it, and you like it, yeah? And I said, and I was like this. I didn't like, I told you, there are many stupid things. But the core of the movie was awesome. But you didn't get it. And I knew it, I told you, because you closed your eyes and you slept, and you said, yeah, I slept only once. And I said, enough. Yeah. Because if you... What?
I was lost.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And now I didn't explain you that, but you don't need it because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I was talking about the dogs, but from the dogs I went to something nicer. But today I told you I'm gonna get the mobile because today the story is about dogs, because I saw that dog there and reminded me of my dog moving the tail and so happy in the middle of the road looking at the owner. But then the owner said, hey, come inside, and then boom, he went inside. So if the owner goes out, then the dog goes happy outside with him, you know? With my dog, it was always on a leash, because with my mother it was impossible. My mother was terrified by that. So at the beginning, it was like he was 4 or 5 months old. He was a puppy, beautiful puppy, and she was screaming because we were 50 meters from her in the condominium. He said, Jesus, he's gonna bite me! He's gonna bite me!
Oh my God.
4 months old dog, and my mother like that. My mother was projecting this kind of energies all her life. You know what I mean? All her life. And and she was with him all day long. So the dog, with all these different energies, one day he decided, maybe I am a person. Because I am these strange connections with these people. And then he sat down. He was always sitting down on the couch. And he was like, no, I am here, I am first. When you are first, I'm not taking you out, the dog said. Now that I'm here, hey, you sit down on the floor. So I always have loved, some of my friends had dogs. It was our first dog. I was already old, 14 years old. And some of my friends had a dog, and it was always alone. It was not mandatory to have it on a leash or anything. So it was with her, and then you throw sticks, and then they can go and come, fetch. And with my dog, it was impossible because all these energies from my mother, all these things that she was. So if you, once he feels free, always. And I did it to him, I don't know how many times. And he was like, hey, today, well, not always, all the time. But one day he decided, boom, again. And it's just like he decided, just is my perspective, and I don't have all the information now. That's why I'm feeling, because I don't remember many things. I'm feeling more. And I'm completely nothing with what I felt, which is better. Maybe if I remember blocking it from that perspective. You know what I mean? So the dog sometimes said, hey, today I feel like staying out. And then he goes to the other side of the condominium. It was very big, it was like 14 buildings. Well, if you are lucky, he didn't go out from there. But at that time, he could. Because now I think it's completely fenced. At that time, there were some exits. They were fenced, but there were some places that he could go out. But even in that, he was searching everywhere, 14 buildings, and maybe you are there and he went to the other one or whatever. Some days it was like half an hour waiting for him. And most of the times you just have to wait there and he would come, at least that. But you don't want to, you are not there to sit down to say, when is he gonna come? So you have to go and search for him. And I don't know all the stories because he was lost many of the times. And I was not at home. I was working most of the time, so most of the times, the stories in the 90s, I don't know anything about it. About all these crazy things that he was doing, running away, blah, blah, blah. But when he beat me, it was 94 or 95 or something like that. He beat me here, and then here, in a year later. So, the reasons why the dogs go out, I already did it. It is these infinite reasons. Can be passion for friends, other dogs' friends, or a beach, or a cat. Friends includes everything, not only dogs. It can be cats, it can be rats, it can be people, whatever. And then you don't know if it was the first time that runs away like that, and he went to a place that he was never before, they can get lost. I don't know, because dogs are very good tracking everything. So maybe they have a defective part of the orientation, or is because there is another reason why they don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For sure, at least these two reasons, and then the other one is infinite reasons again.
Yeah.
So this is like the tree. You see how it's growing and the branches all the time.
And your shirt.
So we are doing this because I don't know what I'm talking about. So, I think it's enough. For you, it's enough. No, it's for you.